I wanted to come on here at the start with a crochet hot take that I have. I'm probably going to get some hate over this, but it is what it is. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. First and foremost, I want to say that I appreciate all of the hard work and effort and time that designers put into making their patterns aesthetically pleasing. This often means laying them out in Canva, doing fancy fonts, adding color to everything, adding a plethora of photos. Like, we all appreciate photos no matter what. But, and this is the problem, this act of putting these patterns together like this in Canva, and the way that they're laid out, is inherently ableist. Now hear me out. Hear me out. Not everybody has perfect vision. I have a number of things going on with my eyes, and I cannot look at a computer screen, at a phone screen, at a tablet screen, regardless of how many filters I have on them, for any extended period of time. It causes eye pain. I'm not talking about eye fatigue. I am talking about physical eye pain. It also causes headaches. And this is because of several conditions that I have going on. And after looking at a screen for any more than a half hour at a time, even reading something, I can't read ebooks anymore. I have a hard time reading web pages. Everything becomes extremely blurry after about 20-30 minutes. It doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter how many blue light filters I have, or other adaptive filters, it still happens. Designers need to be adding a version of the pattern with these beautiful Canva layouts that can be printed out. They don't have to be fancy, just the basic instructions to accompany the pattern, to make it easier for people with vision issues. By not providing a version of the pattern that can be printed out, a real disservice is being done. Some of us really need that because we can't stare at screens. It's not, it is what it is. Come on, Gordon, you're in the way. I mean, I know nobody's like trying to be ableist on purpose, but it's just something that needs to be considered. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I know why you're really here. It's to see this guy. It's to see Gordon. That's what it's all about. Yeah. Actually, he's probably part of the reason my desk is a mess again and I need to clean it. Him and Earth, they just trample everything. No, you're not allowed up there. I start doing cleanup and I get a dent made in things, and then cats happen. I set something down, it ends up on the floor, and yes, I love you too. And I just pick it up and set it on the desk and go on with my life, and then it just turns into a mess. It is what it is. Do not bite my ear. Aw. Those are really tight hugs today. What am I doing? What did I do to deserve extra huggy hugs? And extra strong licks? Am I going to have any skin left when you're done? Not the ear. No, that hurts. I started 2 new projects yesterday as if I really needed to start any more webs. I have enough of them. This first one is another Pokemon. Can anybody guess what it is? Ow, 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 ow. Claws, claws. The second is a jumper, a sweater, whatever you call it, from wherever you are, of this really cute, derpy K-pop Demon Hunters thing. Put it here. And when Gordon's done, I have my Premier Yarn orders here. Hi. Yes, hi. I love you too. If you let me go through the yarn, maybe you can have the box. No? Okay. Speaking of going through yarn, I still have the last Premier Yarns order down here to put away. It's sitting in its box, and now I've got another small box to unpack. Not my ear. Not my ear. I also have an order from Michaels for my bookworm that I'm making. I need to find time today to put the first segment on him. And I have a Yarn Inspirations order coming. So much for not buying yarn this year. I don't need to. I mean, the Michaels order, because it's the posh yarn that I'm using for my worm, that falls under needed yarn more or less, because I didn't realize this guy was going to be so big. Come back here, head. And I'm probably going to have to order more stuffing. And those are the biggest safety eyes that I have, but I think it's fine because it's a worm. But he's huge. Look, I mean, his head's as big as my head. So I'm going to need that yarn. The fact that I can't get all the colors that I originally bought for it. So I want to make sure I have what I need. I'm not making the mistake again of, oh, hey, I'll always have access to this, because you never know what's going to happen. And if Michaels hasn't picked up the entire color line, I've got to replace those colors, because I am not going to have enough yarn. The Premier order is where I messed up ordering yarn from Premier the last time. And I don't even remember what's in the Yarn Inspirations order. I really don't. It'll be a surprise when it gets here. It'll be like Christmas. When he was a kitten, I got some granny squares that I had sitting around, and I put them together like you would put together like an over from crossbody bag. That's what's called a crossbody bag. And I made a carrier for him, like a kitty sling, and he spent so much time in that. And I did that because like he would do this, and then he would just like fall asleep in this position, and my arms would like give out. Not my ear. and he loved it. I don't know if he would sit in it now. I mean, he would fit. He's not a very big cat. He's a little cat. He's a little cat with a big heart. Such a sweetheart. He's such a snuggle bug. Isn't it happy time? You're falling asleep. Come here. Come here. There you go. Go sleep. He's in there. Go sleep. He's in the desk crate. Yarn. You know, I don't know if anybody ever, I don't know if I'm the only one that has thought of this, but I've watched a number of unboxing videos for yarn where people blur out the shipping label, or they come close to doxing themselves. Has anybody thought about just turning the box upside down and opening it from the bottom, or am I the only one that does that? Everything's falling. Really need to clean in here. What? Oh. I'm like, why do I have that color yarn? Okay. Premier Parfait Chunky and Marshmallow. Chanel Brights. And some color. I can't find the color name. I found the die lot number. Sand. It's sand. Sand. It's everywhere. Parfait, Chunky, and I think this is mustard. It's mustard. I'm like, why did I order this? I remember what I'm going to make with that. That and this. I know what's going on in there. Premier Parfait, Chunky, and Cocoa. Premier Parfait and Lagoon. I think I got this like dirty. I don't remember. It's a dirty color. Mushroom. Another basic Chanel Brights and Curry. When I did my last Premier order, for some reason I ordered certain colors in Chanel Basics Bright and certain colors in Parfait Chunky. I mean, they're kind of the same. They're pretty close. But having never worked with the Chanel Brights, I didn't want to mix yarns right away, not knowing anything about it. And I got it for a specific project. A pom-pom maker. It's a Knit Pro. And I don't remember why I wanted a pom-pom. I hate pom-poms. I probably needed this for something. Set that there. Ew. He is not gonna like this. I put 2 things of Stitch Please in Tuscan Sun and 1 in Pineapple Martini. This says super wash. I don't know, it might be okay. It's not as soft as I like, but I threatened to make my best friend a magic carp hat, and he's like, the only way I'll wear it is if it's a shiny magic carp. So this is what I found to make it, and I think they were out of the white, but this is not as soft as I like. The acrylic that I used for mine is so much softer than this wool. I don't know. I think I'm spoiled by superwash merino that's like that I used to get at Joann's. It was really soft, but unfortunately, I don't have that in shiny magic carp colors. So I went with what I could find, and that was this wool. And I wouldn't wear it. I would find it itchy. But that's just me. I'm gonna have to ask them about it. So now I need to put this away. I need to put the other box of yarn away. And I'm looking at where my premier yarns are, and I don't have a lot of room over there. So this is going to be interesting. I'll figure it out. Hello everyone, it's Thursday and I've made some progress on my K-Pop Demon Hunter Derby jumper. I wasn't sure initially that I liked the Premier Basics worsted acrylic, but it's growing on me. I think it's going to turn out really nice. I think I just threw a stitch mark on the floor too. I also have more Amphros pieces. I have his hands. I have his body. I think I left too much yarn for sewing on there. And technically I have both legs, but I need to redo one. I was trying to figure out how yarn over is different than yarn under. And when I put the stitches next to each other, I didn't see any difference. I'm like, I have to be stupid or blind. Well, I am blind, but there is a huge difference. And this is crochet over and this is crochet under. I've done all the other pieces under, and this one turns out a little smaller, which is fine. I mean, that could also be partly my tension, but it's the holes, and I really should have gone down another hook size. Since I'm using a 6.5, I should have used a 6 or 5.5. But they're much smaller on yarn under, so I need to redo this foot. I should have him done today. And when he's done, I will check in, show him to you. I have my Michaels box right here. It just showed up. It just arrived. And this is yarn for my bookwork. Because as you know, I was having an existential crisis that yarns weren't going to be available. I picked up 2 off-white. I thought this would be a good addition to all the neon colors. I don't like this. This Posh Pearl is supposed to be the big twist Posh. They're both 5 weight, but I'm not happy about this. I don't know if you can see this, but the big twist is ever so slightly bigger. Other than that, no, they do feel slightly different too. Interesting. I have two of these in case I need an extra color. I have one of bright blue. I have to check these colors next to the originals. This is the bright purple. I can tell you right now this is lighter than the original. It's not as neon. This is the raspberry. Again, I don't think it's as bright. Lemon. There's two of these. And there are two. This is bright yellow. This is orange. This is yellow. I think they're insane. I think somebody's colorblind. But there's two of these. Let's set this down. I have room. This one is the Baja Blue. This one I cannot get. That is bok choy. That's what I did with his head. This is Lemon Glow. Nowhere close. Obviously, this I can't get anymore. This is the only one that I have. I might have to move colors around again. See, this is the raspberry. This is like 2-3 shades lighter. I mean, as long as I don't have bits next to each other, it should be fine. Butterfly pea, I can't get that one anymore. This needs a yarn winder. This is supposed to be this one. And again, they're like 2 shades off. Again, it shouldn't matter if they're, as long as they're not next to each other. Can't get this anymore. Raspberry sorbet. And raspberry, again, they're shades off. And I have another neon green and this neon pink. Strawberry glow. So, I need to sort out bookworm colors again. I'm glad I waited to put that first body segment on them. And then I'm going to put the big twist in first. I end up putting all of these stupid yarn behind where they sit better, take up less room. Because this is almost this is almost a full skein, and it's so much smaller. This is annoying. I thought that everything was good to go, that I had found matches, but I only sort of found matches. I get off the floor. And here I thought, like I said, I picked this yarn out before Joanne even announced bankruptcy, and I thought I would always have access to this. So this is really irritating. If only we had all had a crystal ball. I have looked on the internet for some of these colors, and the ones that I can find are on eBay, and people are charging like $25 a skein. For $25 a skein, I can buy like hand-dyed yarn, like bougie hand-dyed yarn. So that's not happening. I'm just gonna have to make it do, and I'm sure it'll be fine. Just have to sort out what I'm doing with the colors again. Because, I mean, there are genres that I read more of, like science fiction. I read a lot of sci-fi. I read more sci-fi than, say, literary fiction. I read more genre stuff than I do literary fiction in general. Like most literary fiction that I read is given to me in university. I mean, I don't have anything against it. It's just I prefer science fiction. I prefer fantasy. I prefer like just the whole range of speculative fiction. So I have to sort out colors. And with that, I will be back once Amphos is done. I'm back, and it's Friday. For some reason, when I woke up, I thought it was Sunday. I'm a little bit of a hot mess. My youngest is sick, and I think being exposed to his cooties, I think that I'm trying to come down sick. And I think I'm also having a really bad fibromyalgia flare. So bear with me here. My cognitive ability is kind of in the toilet. I was hoping I would get this guy done last night, but I didn't. I still need to sew his head spot on and his ears. And his ears. If I were to remake him, I think I would do the color change version of the belly, but I didn't feel like doing it. I don't feel like I sewed this on right. I'm used to sewing on like stuffed animals, not loveys, and I was trying to figure out how, if I were to stuff the body, if I were to make another one and stuff the body, to see what it looked like, how I would attach the head. And I've got nothing. I really have to think this through, because the tie-off is at the back of the head, and it's obviously just sewn on there. Now there's a lot of sewing with this pattern, and I think that the hands could have been crocheted in just to cut down on that a little bit. But I think he's really cute, and he'll be even cuter when he's finished, and this will get done today. This is actually the first Lovey I've ever made, and I love him. I love him so much. But I am a big Marie Flaffy Amphros fan. Ignore my hair here. I just got out of the shower, and it's still wet. So I woke up about, oh, my face is all dried out. Oh, I know what that's from. But I woke up about 9 o'clock when FedEx arrived. I had a migraine. I brought my box in, took something for it, and went back to bed. I've only been sleeping about 4 hours. I think my body is. I've got this battle between my nighttime medication and insomnia going on, and it's just not working, and it's taking its toll on me. But I finally got sleep. Came at the cost of a migraine, but what are you gonna do? So my Your Inspirations order showed up, and once again, I've examined the box from FedEx. There's a hole here, like I can stick my finger away in there and touch the yarn. Like that's all busted up. I'm glad I don't order anything breakable from them, because they are just rock kicking my yarn like there is no tomorrow. Like it insulted their mother. Okay. So what's in here? There better be another one. Okay. There are 2 of these Roll With It Melange. I think that's part of the cardboard box that's in there. I think that this is the color used for in the picture of the jackets that I want to make. If not, it's pretty close, but I think part of the reason that I love this is partly because of the colors, and I think this is it. And I've never used this Roll With It Melange. There is this color is Catwalk. Okay. The size 4, 100% acrylic, 386 yards on each of these cakes. Should be plenty for what I need. And for the white to go with it, well, I got an off-white. And what I got was this is not what I got to go with it. I got the Your Inspirations with Love and Ecru. This isn't as soft as I was hoping for, but it'll do. It's fine. I've touched worse. But there's 2 of these. That should be plenty for my project. This is the Karen Simply Me and Erin. It's an off-white. I got it to go with this. So now that I have this, I can start on this project if I can remember what this project was. I think it's a raglan sweater. And why is my yarn scheme coming under? My ball coming under? It's rude. But there's 3 balls of this. Okay. Red Heart released a new all-in-one. This is actually softer than most of them. And this one makes hearts. I thought this was really cool. So I got one of these to try out. And Maybe this is, the color is Heart of Stone. This makes 16 squares. And a thing of Ronde for the giant granny squares. This makes 4. Obviously, I hate myself. And this is for the petite. And this makes 32 squares. You see where I'm going with this. I have the matching colorway of this and the regular granny square yarn. I just need to find where I put it. I'm 99% sure I know where it is, but I was also 99% sure that I knew where my birth certificate and my social security card was, and it took me 3 days to find them. Actually, it probably took me longer than that. I'm obviously going to make something. I don't know if it's going to be like a throw blanket or a jumper or something with the different size granny squares, but I'm going to do something with it. I always thought it'd be cool to do that. But I'm going to use this. I'm going to attempt to use this. If not, it'll make an interesting colorway for something. And that's all that's going on here at the moment. I will show you this guy when he's done. It shouldn't take me long to finish him. I got one row done on my derpy jumper yesterday. My derpy sweater, my whatever you want to call it. I took it to the laundromat with us. We needed to wash a queen size feather blanket, and it's just way too rough on our washing machine. So, Gordon, what are you doing? That's a bag of cookies, not cat treats. But we needed to wash this queen size feather blanket that's just too much for our washing machine. And I took it with us, and I ended up watching cat videos on the internet. Because what else do you do with the internet but watch cat videos? Hi, Gordon. Come on. There we go. Ow, claws. I'm not going to drop you. You know this. Putting your claws in me is not a sign of love. Look, I just had a shower. I don't need you to clean me. Really? Really? Oh, I did get my Premier yarn put away yesterday. Well, most of it. I ended up pulling my all-in-one granny square yarns out of one of the crates and putting it in a plastic bucket because that made the most sense. Because, you know, it's a specialty yarn and it's something that I use every day or a lot of. And I put the Premier Parfait up there. I still have the box down here with the Karma yarn, the stuff that I bought that I don't remember what I wanted it for. I'm going to have to go through all of my patterns and figure out what I wanted that yarn for because I don't remember. And on that note, I need to take my daughter to work in a few minutes, and I need to give this Snuggles. He's being needy. And I will see you later, hopefully with the finished Amphro Snuggler. It is Snuggly. Well, it is Snuggly. I just got back from dropping my daughter off at work and stopping by Michael's. I had a voucher, so I picked up another wooden crate. And what happened? I mean, I've heard it. I've heard people say that you have too much yarn if you don't have any storage space for it, and if you have to keep buying storage containers. Well, I had to get another crate. I like, and it's up there with my all-in-one granny square yarn, and it all won't fit in there. Initially, I had filled up this bucket with it and set it up there. Is that bucket was hanging over like halfway, and that was just asking for trouble. Like the second Gordon climbed up there. He doesn't jump, he climbs everything. Like that would have ended up on the floor by the end of the day. So I had to do that. Now, what I might do with this bucket is, I don't know. I was thinking about putting yarn in it for projects that I'm going to start right away, but that seems like too much space. Maybe I'll put yarn in there that I'm not going to use and store it in the closet and make room for stuff that way, because I found a bunch more Honey Bunny and Toucan from Hobby Lobby, oh my god, from Hobby, that I'm not going to use. And I can put it in there and take the other stuff out of the closet and put it in there and just store it and see if I can find somebody that wants it. And that opens up the space over here where I can store safety eyes and stuff. I found my safety eye backs yesterday, which really made me happy. I haven't been able to find them. So that's today's tidbit of organization, but I don't know if that counts as having too much yarn because I had to go buy more storage. I mean, I had storage picked out, it just didn't work where I wanted it to. It's going to be weird the day that I get a lot of these cleaned out and they're filled with books. He's done. Amphros is done. I finished the Amphros Snuggler. Paint me like one of your French girls. Now, I should have done the horns first, then his head bobble, because it's off center, but I did it the other way. If I make this again, I will definitely do that. And I want to try to come up with a way that maybe I could stuff the body and see how it looks like that. I have an idea how I can attach the neck and headpiece together with it stuffed. But like multiple family members told me that he wasn't stuffed, that he wasn't done. I mean, obviously they don't know what a snuggler is, but you know, here we are. So cute. I love him. And I do realize that if I were to stuff the body, I would have to change all of this. I think these are half double crochets to single crochets, which means doing some conversions to where the stitch counts right, but I don't know. I have thoughts. I'm thinking about it, but there's other things that I want to do. But he's done. He's cute. I love him. And I do think if I make it again, I'm going to do the color change option instead of sewing on a belly patch. Not a big fan of the belly patch. I thought that it would be easier to do, but it just doesn't sit right. And that was probably my sewing job, not anything to do with the pattern. So I've gotten this far on the back panel of my derpy shirt. Now I had to take all of this out right here and redo it. Well, this much, this much, this much, this part out, because I wasn't paying attention and the panel was starting to go like this. So I had to take out 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 rows and redo them. So not a lot of progress. I also did some work on the first body segment of my bookworm, his little feet, and 2 rows, 3 rows, 2.5 rows, and two of the segment. I had to stop on this because where I initially overstuffed it and I was trying to stitch it, and it started hurting my hand where it was just, I couldn't manipulate things, and that was on me. So now I'm covered in biofreeze, and my cat's going to smell this later and start biting me because that's what he does. But the first book that I've read was Kaiju number 8 manga, the new series that's coming out called Relax, about what the Japanese Defense Force does on their day when they've got time off. And I'm finding it amusing. It's not as good as Kaiju number 8, but it's a lot funnier. It goes back to the original humor of the first couple issues of the manga, the first couple episodes of the anime. So that's cool. So that's what I've accomplished today. And I've got nothing else. Hey, it's Saturday. Well, technically it's 1:27 a.m., so it's Sunday, but I've not been to bed yet, so it's still Saturday as far as I'm concerned. Right, Gordon? It has been a rainy, gross day, and I have had zero motivation for anything. Gordon, on the other hand, has had all the motivation in the world to be like this today. You went over there? Okay. I had to put a second crate on my desk. Like, I gave up desk space for this. I had to put a second crate up here because him and Urs were fighting over the cat bed crates. And I was just fed up with it. Today I did accomplish getting the back panel of my derby sweater done. It looks huge, but it's going to be fine. That's actually the bottom. This is the top. This is where it gets sewn on. The white part here. But tomorrow I will start on the front panel, which has the tapestry crochet of Derpy on it. I also started another amigurumi project, and I have this much done. This is how far I've gotten, and this used basically a skein of yarn, a skein of Premier Parfait Chunky, and I did this in a size 5, and I love how this feels. Like, I think this is my new favorite thing, Premier Parfait Chunky done in a size 5. And if anybody's wondering what this is, it's going to be a chibi plushie of Kaiju number 8. I'll put it up here. This pattern came from like a single panel in the manga where this little girl is holding the doll. I'm pretty sure her mom made it for her. You never find out. But early in the anime, the manga, both, Kaiju number 8 comes and saves her and her mom from this bad kaiju, this kaiju that was going to eat them, and she started calling Kaiju 8 Mr. Kaiju. So later on in the storyline, she's sitting in a shelter with her mom while there's giant kaiju battles going on out in the city, and it's being televised, and she's holding on to this plush of Kaiju 8, or she calls him Mr. Kaiju. And that's where the pattern for this came from. The idea for this pattern came from. I recognized it as soon as I seen it, and I will put a link in the description for the pattern. It's on Etsy. I don't remember what I paid for it, and I don't remember who did it. But all I have left to do is the head, and I need to make sure that I have the buttons for his eyes. I forgot to check that, because if I don't, that is going to delay me getting him finished. That is what I have accomplished today. I guess it's kind of a lot. I don't know. But I'm actually amazed at how much I have crocheted here in January. Like, I feel like I'm trying to get like all this stuff done before before university classes start again. I also destashed some yarn today that I knew I wasn't going to use. Hi, Urs. Come on. Come on. Come on, Urs. Come on. There you go. And gave it to my son's girlfriend. Hey, Squeaky. Thanks for dumping everything off that desk onto the floor. It's much appreciated. It was all of my chenille yarn from Hobby. Since I'm not going to use it, I actually like the Premier Parfait Chunky better than I like Honey Bunny and Toucan. It actually sheds less. Like, you touch the Toucan, at least the stuff that I had, it's like it would just fall apart. The Premier Parfait is, I don't know if they changed the formula or what, but I am barely having any shedding with this, and I've been able to frog it successfully without it coming apart. And I wish I could say that about the Hobby yarn. And there was like some other stuff that I threw in there for. But I got rid of yarn, which means now I don't have this box sitting here next to me on the floor. But everything that was on that box is stacked on top of the pile of stuff over there that I have to start going through and putting away. And I've got a lot of yarn over there that's just ending up over there that I need to put away, because it means getting out a step stool. Short people problems. And yeah, that's been today. Excuse me. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm back. I told everybody I would be when I finished with Kaiju number 8. Well, he's done, and he's much bigger than I expected, and I have to hold him way back here to get him in the frame. But he does look like the little girl's doll from the manga, and I will put a picture of that up here. I very much appreciate the person that put out this pattern for like putting this pattern together and making it and writing it up, because I wouldn't have him otherwise. But I have some complaints. This pattern is not for a beginner. There was a lot I had to figure out for myself. And part of that I failed at. I used Premier Parfait Chunky on him with a size 5 hook. Nowhere in the pattern did it state what size yarn the designer used. It gave a yarn color without a yarn brand, so you're completely lost in the woods here. It tells you to use a 3mm hook. I mean, that's helpful, but you know, there's a lot of yarn you can use a 3mm hook with. Not enough information. And I found that really annoying. The other thing I found really annoying was the directions said, make the embroidery look like it does in my picture. those are instructions. They're not very good ones, but they're instructions. So, like, I'm still working on my embroidery game. Like, I've always had an issue with embroidery, even on, like, with embroidery floss on embroidery fabric. But I did okay. But still, that doesn't, if you're a beginner and you have no idea what you're doing, like, how do you do this? Where do you place this? So, yeah, that that was the thing. I think I'm going to make another one later, and I'm going to make it out of size 4 chenille yarn where he's probably the proper size of what he's supposed to be. I don't know how big he is, how big he's supposed to be. The pattern doesn't even state that. It tells you like how to crochet everything. It tells you where to crochet in the arms, and it just tells you to sew on the head. Okay. Can we have a little bit more direction? I mean, there's nothing, like putting the arms, the head, and the body together is not like a huge thing. It was pretty easy. He's got button eyes. You're not dealing with safety eyes there. All that's fine. But vague directions are vague. And it was pattern tested, and I don't know why the pattern testers didn't say anything about, hey, this doesn't say what size yarn you're supposed to use. You gave a color and no yarn brand. I really hate that when people don't tell you what they have made an item out of. So yeah, but I do love him, and I guess he's kaiju size. It's all good. So I am putting him back here. He can hang out right here where the aliens used to be. I sent those aliens, my remakes of Louisville's Aliens, to work with my husband for him to put on his boss's desk, just so she could try and figure out where they came from, because I think it would be funny. I keep giving him weird things to like take to work and just sit around, and one of them was like a failed attempt at making a pickle. The failure was on my part. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I overstuffed it. I didn't use a small enough hook for the yarn that I had, and blah blah blah. And it was just, and like one of the guys that he works with found it and took it home as a toy for his cat. So I'm just gonna keep sending weird little things with him to like sit around and work for people to find and ask questions about. Well, it's Monday. Initially, I was going to have this video up today, but then I decided since last week I had my weekly vlog up on Tuesday, I would just continue with Tuesdays, and I'll get this edited tonight. So, as you can see by the thing on my head, I made a jester hat today. Well, between last night and today. Hi, Gordon. It's Gordon. This jumped up on me earlier, right after getting out of the litter pan, and his feet were disgusting. I did not know he had just been in the litter pan, and I had to change my clothes and everything. It was gross. But as I was saying, my hat. I started on this last night thinking I would get it done quickly, but I didn't. I finished it today, and I used the Karen Chunky Cupcakes, the yarn that you are supposed to be able to make a hat out of one cupcake, one skein, one cake, whatever you want to call it. No, I needed to use two. Well, almost two. I've got like this much left. Like, not a lot. I can't have books on the floor. But it basically took two skeins to do the whole thing. And it is the color Cotton Candy, and I really love the colors on this, and I wish I could get more of this to make a million other things out of, but it is a Michaels exclusive, and it's sold out everywhere, at least everywhere within 50 miles of me. So no more Cotton Candy Karen cupcakes for me. Last night, I also had to take apart the beginning of the sleeve, the first sleeve for my derpy sweater, because it was going like this, because once again, I wasn't paying attention, and I had to frog the entire thing and start over, back to where it was before it got frogged. So that happened. I also did surgery on my Magic Carpet and put elastic in, just like a thin piece of elastic. And instead of stuffing it, I just made rounds out of Premier Parfait Chunky to go over the safety eye posts where it wasn't hitting my head, and it works great. And it fits so much better now. It just needed taking in a little bit, and that then the stuff, I thought I threw it in here, the thin elastic that gets used for crochet, just like one strand of it did the job. So I accomplished that today. And I have done a little bit of work on my bookworm. I got his feet's partially sewed on. I got 3 more rows done. I have to, like, this yarn is killing my hands. I should have come up with something easier to work with. But hindsight is 2020. Having never used this before, I did not know that it was going to be this brutal. So that's going to be slow going, and I will probably be finishing it next year because I'm going to end up getting behind as slow as this is going. Just because I tend to read as much as I crochet, and I'm already looking at 8 books for one class this coming semester, and classes start next week. And one of my classes apparently does not have a book list, so I'm guessing the professor is going to be providing everything that we need. Or she did not get the book list into the university bookstore on time. That has happened before as well. The other professor has not released the book list yet, so it's not available through the university bookstore. And the last time I had this particular professor, he changed the book list the first day of class. So I'm a week away from classes starting, and I have no idea what I need. Oh, and I printed out my pattern. Well, not my pattern, but I printed out the pattern that I'm going to use for my next amigurumi project, which I'm really excited to do. And I've been planning it for a bit. And yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I'm forgetting. Oh, there is something that I'm forgetting. I keep forgetting to tell everybody about this. A couple weeks back, EG with Crocheting with EG posted a short about a chandelier that he made. Basically, it's a craft project of a chandelier. It doesn't have lights on it, but it's like a hanging mobile of scrap yarn and 2 layers. Or 2 tiers. I will link to that short in the description below. But I seen that and I'm like, I want to make one. That is so weird. And I've started, and this is how far I've gotten. Every time I find some weird little bit that where I was experimenting with, oh, I need to fasten this off. Where I've experimented with something or what have you, I put it on here. Oh, I tied that off. I tied that on there before I fastened it off. Well, let me put a stitch marker in there for the moment. I'll fix that off screen. But I was trying to learn how to make a flower granny square. I found a turtle flipper. I found a granny square. I have no idea why I made it out of that yarn. And the rest of it is just basically my scrap yarn. And where EG used 2 styrofoam plant forms, like wreath shape, that he found at Goodwill and glued everything on. I was worried about gluing onto styrofoam, that the hot glue would melt it. But having not seen the forms that he used, when I decided to go with these bamboo hoops, and I got it in 3 sizes, and I don't know where I put the other 2. I have to find them, but this is like this 4-inch, and then I got a 6-inch, and then an 8-inch. And I also have more scrap yarn than this. I just can't find my bag of it. But a lot of this, I am just tying on. A lot of this has just been tied on from like current projects that I've been working on, like my Pikachu, my Amphros, Kaiju 8 over there, my Woobles, my Bookworm, the cardigan that I made as a Christmas gift. But I've just been tying it on here as I go, where I don't even have to deal with it. And this is how much scrap yarn that I have come up with since I've seen EG's video. So it's coming along. I just need to find where I put the other 2 hoops. They can't have gone far. Now, the pieces of scrap yarn that aren't big enough for this, I am putting in ornaments. I don't remember where I seen this idea to take scrap yarn and fill up these craft Christmas baubles with, but Michael's had them for 60% off, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the craft yarn thing. The craft yarn thing, oh my god, the scrap yarn thing. And this is the 3rd or 4th bauble that I'm working on. Oh, wait a minute, this is the 3rd one. This would be the 4th one. This one is filled with yarn from a failed pom-pom. I couldn't figure out how my pom-pom maker worked. And yeah, even after watching a video tutorial, I couldn't quite get it. And this is that first failed pom-pom. This is the current one. I'm just putting the small scraps in there that are too small for this. This. So those are my scrap yarn projects. I've got a bucket back here, or an old last year's popcorn tin from Christmas that I'm putting the bigger scraps in that I can use for scrap yarn projects. So there's that. And now I think that's everything for the week. It has to be. I haven't done anything else. So with that, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever it is you do. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.